Okay. So the first topic that we're going to review is how to place links in HTML page. So to review that, we'll go back to our test page. So I'll zoom that in so you guys can see. A lot of this is unnecessary stuff. So the line that we're focusing on is going to be this line right here. So to link a text, like a piece of text, what you use is the A tag, and then within the A tag you have a href. So you would do href equals, then these quotation marks, and within the quotation marks you would put the URL that you want it to link to. And then the text in between the opening and closing tags is going to be the text that pops up when you want to, like, it's going to be the text that you click to get to the Wikipedia page in this case. So if you look at it on this HTML page, what we're looking at here is this Wikipedia link. Okay, so you can see here that within the opening and closing tags we wrote Wikipedia link, and that's the text that we have, and this line underneath it means that it will take us to Wikipedia. So as you can see here, when we click on it, it takes us to Wikipedia. So does everybody understand that? Did everybody get the explanation behind what's it called? Placing URL. Okay. So then if you could just, I'm gonna show it up here again, and then make a line, make a like a full line of HTML like this, like opening and closing tags, and with the proper format. So what I want is an opening tag, closing tag, link, and what is it? Text in between tags. So those four things I want you guys to make or write down and put it in the chat, just so that I can see how well you guys understood what I just said. Take however much time you need. Okay. Yeah, you guys could technically just copy this, but like for the link, you guys could just put google.com instead of typing this whole thing out. You could just put google.com and then in between you could say Google. But you guys will be basically copying on this stuff, this, and like the closing tag, obviously. So I think this should be a good enough look for you guys. Okay, so Anushka, you got it all correct except for just one part. It's supposed to be href, not href. It is. So second one isn't correct. So this one, the href, is the correct one. So it's not supposed to be this. So href, not herf. But that's just a small spelling mistake. Other than that, everything was correct. Very good job. Okay, so since you guys can what is it? See what she Yeah, so since you guys can see what she put, I think we can move on to the next topic for review. So the next one is going to be style sheets. Does everybody remember the three kind of style sheets? So there were three kinds. So first one was internal. Second one was no, first one was inline. Second one was internal. Third one was external. Okay, so since you guys don't remember it, we'll go over it again. So okay, so first we have inline, right? So we'll go here, and now the one that we want to isolate, the line that we want to isolate is going to be this paragraph line right here. So this is an example of inline style. So within the specific tag, we have style in the opening tag equals quotation marks and then color semicolon red, and then we have this colon here if we want to add more style elements. And if we go to our test HTML page, we can see that this is in fact blue. So does everybody understand inline style? Okay, so inline style is going to be style equals quotation marks and whatever style element that you want to change within just that specific opening tag. And the special thing about inline style is that it only affects that specific tag that you put it in. So as you can see here, while the tag that we changed is red because we wrote it as red, over here, the one right after it, test, is not red, it's blue. So do you understand that? Okay, so the next one is internal style. So we have an example of that as well. So internal style, you're always going to put in the head tag of your HTML. So not header, which is this H1, but head, okay? So within that head section of your HTML, you're going to put the opening and closing tags for style. And within that, you're going to write the name of the tag. So in this case, it was P. If you wanted to do header 1, you would write H1. And then the curly braces, and then whatever style element that you want to change. So the style element that you want to change is basically the same as the inline style. This thing will be the same throughout inline, internal, and external. But the thing that is unique about internal style is that it changes all the tags in that HTML page. So if I were to put color blue, now it's not just that first header 1 tag that will be blue, it's all the header 1 tags. So both of these header 1 tags will be blue. And that's why the second paragraph tag that we had here, even though we didn't change it from black to blue, it was blue because we changed it up here. So we did not need to use inline CSS to change it. So if we refresh, okay, give me 1 second. Oh, I forgot to save this. So now we go and refresh it, and you can see that both of these changed from black to blue. So now does everybody understand internal CSS? Yeah? No. So what I said was that you put it in the head tag. So you put it in between the opening and closing tags for head, not header. So we want to put it in the head tag. Put in head tag. Put in head tag. Okay. Not in the header. Okay, so not in header, which would be written as H1. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit confusing since there are similar tag names, but just for reference, so I think I went over this before. So in HTML, you have your head and you have your body. So think about it. Yeah, so I put it in the chat. So header is going to be those tags that are like H1, H2, H3. That's what header is. Head is just, it's written out as head. So it's different. So does that answer your doubt? Okay, so I'm talking about internal CSS, not inline CSS. So for internal CSS, you're going to put that style opening and closing tag in your head tag, in between your head tags. Header 1 is going to always be in between your body tags. It's text. Yeah, so that, okay, so if you see here, we also did the same thing for the paragraph tag, okay? So what that means is that we're changing an element of the paragraph tag in this case. When I put H1 color blue, that was to change the color of the header 1 tag throughout the HTML. What I'm saying is that you put the style tags, so you put opening and closing tags for style in the head. What you're talking about is what I put in between the style tags, which is a completely different thing. Okay, good. And so then the last one is going to be external CSS. So if I would take you to our external CSS page that we had made a while back, so I'm going to show it over here. So as you can see, it's basically the same thing as our internal CSS. So the same thing that you typed out in chat, Anushka. So the same thing that you typed out in chat, we have over here, H1, curly braces, color, blue, etc., etc. Now the only thing that we need to do is that we need to link it to our HTML page. So unlike internal CSS where you have all of these things, the same things as external CSS. Okay, so I think this is the max that I can zoom in without it being too zoomed in. So with internal CSS and external CSS, you have both of these things, right? You can see that these lines are the exact same. P curly brace color blue, P curly brace color blue. The only thing that's different between these two is that internal CSS, you have these opening and closing tags style, and it's in the HTML page that you're manipulating, that you're changing. So you don't need to link it. However, with an external CSS page, so if we went and deleted that, what you have to do is that you have to put a link. So you do link. This tells your header, your head, not your header, your head, how exactly to read this link. And then you put, as we showed before with href, we're going to put an href here and then style.css. Okay, so just putting this one line, we could add 50 style elements here. We could change 50 elements of style, and we only need this one tiny line to upload it all to an HTML page. So if we save it now, nothing should change since it was the same thing as before. Now, if we go to this and change it to green, okay, and then we refresh, you can see that our header tags changed to green. So does everybody understand external now? How did it change to green? Okay, that's because I changed the text in our style sheet. So I went to our style sheet and changed this to green. And since we link the style sheet to our HTML page over here, any changes that we make in the style sheet will always be changed over here. So we don't need to save anything on this HTML page here. We just need to save this style sheet for it to be able to upload that newer version of it to the HTML page. So do you understand that? Okay. So then the next one was how to link a style sheet to HTML. And looking at more elements of style, I think we went over that, but I think we go to W3 style HTML. So if we go to styles, I think they show. So you have background color for your body. So if you remember correctly, the background color tag or the background color element is only for like the body basically, because it changes, well, the color of that entire thing. So that wouldn't really be necessary for any of the text tags since you have color, just a simple color tag. You don't need this background part. for text tags. So that's background color. You really only use it for the body tag. So does everybody get that? Yeah, I know we did all of this. So this is all review, basically. And then the next one is, yeah, so background color, you can see background color. Okay, so for background color for text, that's going to be just changing the text, the background color of that line. So if you put powder blue, say on this, it doesn't change the color of the text, but it changes, well, the background color, but only for that line. So now if we also put color powder blue, you would be able to see that guess it's not, I don't know why it's not letting me change it. Let me just see. Oh, it's because I didn't add that D. So now if we powder blue. Oh. Now if we see, obviously you can't put your background color and your text color to the same thing because then that will make the text disappear. Sir, can you show the HTML page ones? Okay, so do you want me to show these ones? Or do you want me to show the ones on the web page? Okay, so the web page ones. Next we have the color one, which we already went over in depth. And then the next one is the font family. So the way that you guys have Times New Roman or Calibri or whatever, the same way you can change the font of the text. So if I put like Calibri, it changes the font of that text. So my voice is breaking. Okay. Sorry about that. So do you guys get the font family? That's going to be like the font style of your text style, the font style. Font, you don't get the font family. So if we go over here, this changes how your text looks like this. So it changes the font of it. Do you guys use Microsoft Word or like Google Docs or anything? Yeah, so the way that you can change your text font between Times New Roman or Calibri, that's the same thing that we're doing here. Sorry, I don't get background word color. Okay, it's fine if you don't get the specific style tags. I just wanted to show you guys that there are different style tags. Or not style tags, there are different elements of style. Okay, so those font styles are, they're things in Microsoft Word. Okay, so that you can change the way that the text looks in ways other than the color or the size or whatever. Okay, so that's all you need to really remember. I think the last one is, well, you know what? So just so you guys know, there's a lot of different style elements. So if you ever want to look at it, here is the link. to that web page so you guys can look and play around with those. So, for this lesson, we're going to go over, actually, I think we should take a small break. We'll come back at, for me, it'll be like 8:10, 8:11. For you guys, it'll probably be 8:40. Okay? All right. So for the second part of the class, we'll be going over two things. So the first is going to be a button, so a button tag, and the second one is going to be then how to go to different web pages or HTML pages when you click a button. Okay? So the example of a button tag is over here. So the button tag is has an opening and closing tag. So if we just take this out, so if we take this out, this is going to be the opening and closing tag for a button. So if you see here, and in between the opening and closing tags, the text that you put in here will the text that you put in will be the text that appears on the button. So if we do this, over here we have the clicking animation, so you can see anytime I click it, it turns white. But when we click it, it does nothing because we don't have anything that is called this on click. So what this says is that we have a button. When it gets clicked, and then between this equal, between these quotation marks, we tell it what to do. So over here, we're doing window, which will be this window here, or in our case, it would be the tab. This entire tab would be the window, dot location. So we're going to change, we're going to make this window display a certain location. So that would be a URL, an HTML page, a picture, something like that. And then .href. So obviously, anytime that you want to reference a link or an HTML page, you do href equals, and then your, what is it? Your URL. So if we submit it, then we click here, it brings us to that URL that it put in there. So does everybody understand the concept behind a button at the very least? I can go over linking it again, but sir, can we move the button? So the position of the button will be dependent on where exactly your on how many tags you have above it, so on and so forth. So if we go back to our test, the location of my button is here because it's right next to the image. And paragraph tags require a whole line for themselves. A button tag does not, nor does an image. So it'll go to the left of it. I mean to the right of it. So that's how you kind of change the location of it. So why near the pic? Because the image does not take up a whole line. However, a paragraph tag takes up, or a header tag takes up this entire line. So nothing can be placed in this line with it. What if we want it in paragraph? So what if we want it in its own line? So what we would do here is, I believe the quickest solution for that would probably be to add just a empty paragraph tag that would serve as a spacer. So that would be the easiest way to do it. So if you see here, now it's its own separate line. So does that answer your question? Sir, can you show the code? Okay, so for this one, this button is one, so button, click me, and then the closing tag. So /button. And for onClick, I have window.location.href, and I have this new world.html. So if I could show you guys the new world.html, it's literally just a paragraph tag and with test in it. So what it should do in theory is that when we click on the button, it brings us to this new world page. So does everybody understand that, the logic behind it? So if everybody does understand it, then I'm going to ask that you guys make just a opening and closing tag. So what exactly new world means? That's just the name of the HTML file that I made. So I named it new world. So if I named it test2, I would put test2.html, but I named it new world. The actual name of that file has no significance. So could I ask you guys to make a simple button? It doesn't have to do anything when you click on it, but just a simple button that the text on the button says hello. So just an opening and closing tag for button, and in between the opening and closing tag, just hello. Could you guys write that down and send it in the chat? So anytime you're ready, just put it in. Yeah, so that is the correct one. Yeah. So that's exactly what I was looking for. So, I mean, new world.html, and you can put anything in this. Shoot, that's not the one. You can put anything in that new world.html. So if I open it up, it's over here, open with Notepad. You can put anything in here. I could make a super complicated page, and the way that it looks when I click on it, so I have everything here. If I click on it, it brings me to just this HTML page that says test. Okay, it doesn't create a new tag, so it doesn't create a new tab. So, and I can't right click and then do open a new tab like I can with this. The only way to do it is to do it like that. So does everybody understand what a button is, how to set up a button, and sir, do we have to learn all this to make a page? Yeah, I mean, buttons are going to be a very basic aspect. So like say you want to make a site like this, okay? So if we go back to this article, things like this, okay? Maybe not the drop-down menu, but if you see that these are buttons. If I click on this, it brings me to another page. So it's almost the same thing. almost the same thing. Sir, how to set link in button. Okay, so if we look over here in our button, let me just isolate the button tag. So button on click equals, and then quotation marks. Okay, then window dot location dot href equals, and then these single quotes, not the double quotations, just the single ones. And in between that, you put the URL or the URL for the HTML page that you want to link it to. So does everybody get that? I can show it for a bit longer. Yes or no? So does everybody get it? Okay. So if we could do the same thing that we did previously with this opening and closing tag, except now put an on click in there. So on click, double quotation marks, locate window dot location, then dot href equals single quotation marks, and then whatever you want to put in there. So if you guys want to look at it for a bit longer, so it's going to be this. Just add this thing to your response in the previous for the previous question. And after that, I think that'll be the end of the class. I'm not going to be assigning any homework. This is right now. So if you could just put it in the chat. If you need me to show the page again, I can. Okay. So whenever you're ready, just tell me. And tell me your answer. Okay, yeah, so the only problem with your response, Aryan, is that there's no space in between the on click, so it'd be button on click equals and then window location dot href equals, and you put a single quote, which is good. So google.com. So you just needed to get rid of that space in between the N and the C in on click. Other than that, your answer was completely correct. So everybody now has an example from both me and now Aryan. So just take like a minute to look at it, and if you still have any questions, let me know, and we can go over that really quickly. Or if there are no questions about it, then we will close up the class. So in yours, you had a space in between the on and the click. So if you see here, you made on and click two different words. What you want to do is on click. It's one word. All right, so with that, we can close up the meeting. So no questions, right? So see you guys later, I guess. And have a great rest of your week.